One more video for today. I'm going to swap out a Vostok amphibian diver watch dial with an orange dial. I haven't gotten one of these before, but it's not a very difficult job, but I figured it's near the end of the day, might as well do something simple. So there we go. Let's see what this looks like. Dial swapping. Alright, it's a very nice amphibian watch that I've got a little while ago, 200 meters. It says that it is the amphibian, it's a Vostok, B-O-S-T-O-K, and other folks online and tell me that in Russian V and B are pronounced the same. So B is pronounced V, Vostok. So it is a Abtorian Badagudud, or some Russian words in there, and it is 200 meters, so it's a 200 meter dive watch, and there's some Russian words in there, and if you know you're Russian, then please contact me. So I've got it on a nice little NATO strap, so let's take that strap off. This thing has gone in the water quite a few times. I don't know whether I pressure tested it, but maybe I should do that while I'm at it, right? And I'll use my new pressure tester. Alright, got a vintage Bulova pressure tester. It's got some scratches on the end. That's good, that means I'm using it. And I'll test this and see if those are real scratches or not, right? So there's the infamous ring here that keeps everything nicely sealed in. So I've got to go get my case loosening device. And like I've said before, everything's got to be an acronym. So this would be the CLD, the case loosening device. I'm going to check, make sure my audio is working. Yeah, it's working. No problem there. Okay, case loosening device, and I put it in here, and I don't need to use anything special for this particular watch. I just need to remove the ring here. So you just grab that ring with your case loosening device and hope it doesn't slip. There we go. That's awful crunchy, folks. That is awful crunchy. That's because it was in the lake. I swam with this baby. This is my #1 go-to watch for swimming this year. So there's the ring. And as with all of these Vostok watches from Vostok watches from Vostok, they've got the ring in here which seals the case back, and then there's a tab there, and you just sort of pull that out, and I should wash that up a bit. And there's the automatic movement with a B. There's the B, there is the B. So, and it's a really nice little automatic movement. This is a workhorse of a movement. I don't think there's any movement in the market that's as tough as this Vostok Russian movement. So these were made for the Russian military, so they're pretty strong, and I would say they're very strong, actually. So now, taking the crown out, I can't remember how to do that. It looks like there is a button to press right here. So I think in this case here, you do have to pull the crown into setting mode and then press the button. So let's unscrew the crown first, like that. There we go. And they've got the classical loose crown, right? So this crown is a loose crown, which is pretty typical of this movement. Or my other Vostok watch here, this is the beautiful Amphibia automatic Reef 200 meters. So this is a gorgeous watch, and it's a GMT watch. It was hard to get a hold of, but I got one. The only thing wrong with this is that it was missing a little jewel on the top, but I can figure that one out and find another one. So this here is in mint condition as well, and it's also a gorgeous watch. So, and they went North American style with this watch, with a traditional case back opener, right, as opposed to the ring that they're known for. So gorgeous watch, and the lume on here is amazing. I was wondering whether this lume was radioactive, but I won't test the lume right now, because I'll test that later, and if it's radioactive, I'll let you know. So I've been walking around my house with my new radiation detector and seeing if I can find anything radioactive that might like I said before, turned me into the amazing, incredible Hulk, right? So this is, I gotta pull this out into the setting position, like that. I love sound effects when I do watch work. And then I just push down on this, and the stem comes right out. So how easy is that, right? Now, I believe there's a, I don't think the watch will flip right out until I remove these screws here. So I need to flip the movement out. So I've got to loosen a couple screws up. Now, once I loosen those up, this thing should come out for me. So there's one. Shouldn't be too bad to do this. I have my hat on right now. I got to take that off before it hits stuff. I remember watching Bun Special. He's another guy that does pocket watch work online. There's some crud there too, so I should try to remove anything I find that doesn't belong, because it looked like right there on the well, I have the movement open. I might just throw a little oil on it too, keep it running well. Diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo. There's the diddle-a-doo sound. So I'll move that out of the way. That's their automatic mechanism right there. It's kind of neat. Looks a little bit like the Rolex one, maybe, because it wouldn't be surprised if they kind of scoffed it from Rolex. A lot of these Russian watches are very well built, and if people out there know the history of the Russian watches, they do borrow design. I'll say, right? They borrow design. So it's common for them to borrow design. I'm going to pick this up with Rodico because I don't want this screw to land into the hairspring, right? Because if I pick that up with my tweezers and for some reason it doesn't want to go anywhere, it might land in the hairspring, and that would ruin the hairspring. So let me get my Bergeron Binford 5000. This is a nice piece of these aren't that cheap, but they're not that expensive either. So I want to take this and see if I can just drop it out. I'm not sure if that'll work. Is that going to work? No, it doesn't seem to work. So I got to figure out how to get this thing out. I may have to remove the gasket, or the plastic around the edge might need to come out. So I'll just move this out of the way again. Get a toothpick so I don't scratch it. Let's get this out of the way, and I should actually make sure that that's focused. It's a little bit higher than it was before, so I'm going to require a better focus. Anyway, I'll get this out of the way. You should use a toothpick when you're getting the rotor out of the way, and I'm just checking to see what else there might be here that's causing me potential issues to remove this movement. I don't think there's anything. This gasket is not against that. Oh, you know what it is? The gasket is sitting there, and this is the world's thickest gasket that they have. It is a huge gasket. If you want a department of huge gaskets, that's the one. So now the thing just should dump out. With any luck, see if this works. There we go. So that dumped out nicely. And I've got the movement sitting there, and I'm going to just pause while I make sure that this is in focus, because it doesn't look like it's in focus right now. Alright, that's about as in focus as it gets. So I need to take the ring off of this. So I'm going to lift the movement up and remove the ring. See if I can do that without causing any more problems. Just lift that up like that. I need to flip that around. Actually, that's not going to come out because the automatic mechanism is actually rubbing against the, if you look at that, you have to take the automatic mechanism out in order to do that. So I may need to remove that, which is not what I was expecting, but it's all doable. So it's a simple job, just became a little more complex. So let's just put this back in again, and let me see if I can remove this automatic mechanism, because I need to get to the dial screws. So if with any luck, this just comes off the top, and we're good to go. Good as gold. Good as gold. And that's the screw for the rotor. Separate that from the other screws so I don't somehow lose it, and lift the rotor up. There we go. So the rotor is away from the pipe. I'll lay that down on the side here, and it's exposing a few things. I just got to make sure there's nothing in here that could fall out when I turn that around, because now the thing will come apart for me. So now I'll take this nice cushion here, and I will flip this around like so and lift that up. There we go. So there's the movement. That's in pretty good condition. I probably need to set the hands to the right time. I might be able to get my hand setters under that without having to set the hands to the right time. Nah, I should do that just to be good about it. So I'll take the movement out of the case here. Just move that aside, and very carefully holding the edges, I'm going to see if I can throw that stem back in, and that should just push right back in without a problem. Like that, and then apply a little bit of pressure, and there we go. Now I think that's back in. No, it's not back in yet. I think I need to press that button down to get it past that point. I remember having problems with this before when I was working on cleaning this thing a long time ago. There we go. So that should be in now. I'm just curious why it doesn't seem to be. Oh, it's the stem is loose. That's the problem. So I've got that loose thing here, loosey-goosey happening. That's in winding position right now, like that. So I got to pull it out one step and see if that works. There we go. And I'll just set the hands to the 12 o'clock position, like so. Thing of beauty. I think you can stop this watch too by just doing that. So I'm going to just lay this down on the pad, and it's fine like that. And then I got to get a piece of paper for the hands. I could throw plastic on the top, actually, for removing the hands. The second hand is moving though, and I'm a little worried, a little concerned, because I don't want to ruin the pipe in the second hand. I guess if I was super smart, I'd take the power off. And I'm going to get my brand new hand removers and see if they work. And I'm going to wait till it hits I don't know if that'll work. You see how wide these things are? So I think these are made for pocket watches, because they're very wide at the edge, unless I take it from the side. Like if I were to take them from the side like that and then lift up, is that going to allow me to remove these? Yeah, there you go. It all came off in one shot. And they're magnetic. See that? The hands are stuck to them, which means I've got to demagnetize the hand removers, because that's not good. These are all magnetic. Oh my god. That is kind of crappy. And they're really magnetic. Look at that. I just pulled it back, and it just flew right back to the hand remover. See? Watch this. Magnetic. This is how magnetic the hand removers are. Just to give you an idea. Oh! Got me. Scared me, actually. Alright, so let's get rid of these things. Put them aside. Demagnetize those later. So now that's off. And just turn that around and make sure the watch is still ticking. Yeah. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Now I got to take out the dial screws wherever they are. So I'm just going to look on the edge of the watch here and see if I've got dial screws. I'm still hoping, by the way, and I know you shouldn't be doing hoping in watch work, but I'm hoping that this dial actually fits. It looks like the dial pegs here are actually bent on it too, so that's not good. That was in shipping, I'm sure. So I didn't do that. So here we go. There's the two screws there. Screw 1 and screw 2. And get rid of my hat here because I'm hitting my head on the camera. Is that camera going to stop moving? Should settle down in a second. So. I got to modify those dial posts. I'm hoping when I do that I don't break them. I could heat them up, but that could cause other problems. There, just loosen those up like that. And then with the smaller screwdriver, I'm going to just put my screwdriver in the edge here and see if that comes out at all. Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah, so they're right there and right there, so the thing should just drop out actually. This one's causing a little bit of problems, so we'll just loosen that a bit more. There we go. So that's the two of them are loose. Now let's see if that thumbnail that I've been bragging about actually works. There we go. That's the dial there. And it's out, and there's the calendar movement. And I'll put that down. And so there's the dial in its entirety. See if the watch is still running. Yeah, no problem there at all. So that's the dial. Now let me see if I can somehow fix these dial feet. I'll show them to you. They look like they're bent. I bought it all the way from Russia. They came in the mail and they sat on the friggin' envelope. You see those dial feet? They're at an angle. So what I'm going to do is use a pair of tweezers and try to milk them straight. Because they may snap off, I don't know. Hoping they don't. They look rather thin on the end. They look super thin on the end. You know what? I think I might, if I put heat on there, that might ruin the dial itself. So I need to do dial feet maintenance right now. This is not good at all. I'm really afraid that I'm going to snap these things. Alright, that seemed to straighten up a bit. I'll move it the other way a little bit. Like that. They just have to be a bit strong. They don't have to be super strong. This is no fun at all. The dial feet are not straight up and down, then the dial ends up at an angle, and then the date doesn't work properly. I'm eyeballing the dial feet as I move them here, making sure they're as vertical as possible. I think that might be done. This one looks like it's got a bit of a leaning tower of Pisa that way, so I'll just straighten that up a little more. Nice and easy. Easy does it. Easy peasy. Let's not sneezy. Now the other problem I could have is the dial feet might be in the wrong position. No, that looks okay. That doesn't look too bad. So this would be the 12 o'clock position here. So the dial would go straight down like this. I'm doing a bit of praying here, by the way. So I'm trying to get that dial feet in, those dial feet in, and I'm keeping my fingers away from the hairspring. The dial foot, is that more than 1 feet or 1 feet or less? Yeah, I can see an angle there, but If it goes straight down, I think I'm good. There we go. That dial feet went straight down. So I'll clean up the smudgies in the dial after, but I actually don't want to touch the movement with my fingers too much. So I'm going to put a pair of gloves on here. The Bugs Bunny the gloves again. So they're actually fully out. These are my black anti-coronavirus gloves I'm going to put on here. Auntie and Uncle Coronavirus. So there we go. I think that before I close all this, I'll put I'll give you a close-up of the movement so you can have a look at that Vostok movement nice and close. So there we go. There's the dial now on. I got to make sure it's on all the way. So you want to put a little bit of pressure, but not too much, because if there's too much pressure on this dial, then you got other issues. So I'm going to push it where the dial feet are. I'm looking down the center of it to try to find the dial feet. I'll hold that down as I tighten the dial feet. So there's one. There's one dial foot. Can I there, fix the zoom on that for a second. And I'll just tighten that dial foot up a bit. I need to lower my chair so I can work properly here. Oh, use these armrests that I paid $1,000 for. There we go. That's much better. Now I got my arms nicely rested so my hands are not suspended somewhere. I can get a better angle on that. Okay, that one's done. And just move that around here to get the other dial foot here. Stay away from the hairspring. I have my high intensity light off right now because I don't want it juking me up. See, this one went in a lot deeper than the other one, so hopefully there's no issue there. But this screw went in nicely. This screw seemed to not go in that nicely, so I think this is up higher on one side than the other. Yeah, it looks that way. So I'm going to loosen this one up a bit. Now in pocket watches you can actually pound the edge of the watch a bit. And is that the one that's out a bit, or is the other one out a bit? Actually, it's the other one that's out a bit. And this one went in all the way, so maybe the other one is not. I'm not sure. I am not sure. I mean, it looks good. It's just that the dial looks like it's at a bit of an angle to the actual pocket or the actual watch, so which I don't like. I'm gonna loosen this up a bit and see if I can press that down a bit more. But the date has to go around in a circle, right? So if you have this thing in too much, there's a risk that your date is not going to travel around in a circle. There, that's good. That's a little tighter. I got my other screwdriver here. I can use a much bigger screwdriver on these dial screws. Use the right screwdriver for the right job. That's what they tell you. Plus my glasses are hanging down my nose now. Alright, so that one's good. Now that's a lot better. So that's flat. That's looking pretty good. Now there's sort of a halfway position here for setting the date or something, right? Where you spin it the other way. not sure how that works actually. That's time setting, and this is winding, so I'll set the time later, I guess. So if I pull that out a bit, just a little bit, does it set anything? No. I don't think there's a third position. I can't remember how to set the day on it. It's probably another instruction booklet. Alright, so there we go. Let me just get a close-up of that movement for you so you can appreciate the movement itself. Alright, there's the Vostok movement. This is RUS, I guess, for Russia, and there's a serial number in here, so it's a gorgeous movement. These things tick away at an odd beat. I think it's 19,600 beats per hour, so 19,600 beats per hour, so it's a strange beat on these watch movements. So let's see if I can put the rotor back on now, but I got to put the plastic back on before I put the rotor back on. Alright, so I get the Dumbest Guy of the Year award here. So all I did was slip it over like this and just laid it down. So I cheated. I went and looked at the other video and I realized that I didn't have to do that. So it was simpler than I thought. All good. But before I close this down, let me just hit my camera with my arm here, and my wife's vacuuming out there somewhere. I don't know what's going on. I can hear all kinds of vacuuming sound. So I was hoping I wouldn't get vacuuming sound on this. So I gotta just tap these jewels here. And see if I can help that at all. Like that and like that. And one more. Yeah, right there. Like that. And then the rotor needs to go on. If I look at the rotor and all of its beauty, I could probably, there's the rotor there. It just spins around, so that doesn't need any oil there. I could put a little bit of oil on those gears to make them move more freely, but I think probably they're good the way they are. So the rotor just goes on like this. I'll just put it down like this. Grab this in the right place maybe, and it won't be as difficult. It's funny, you get too close and it doesn't work well. I apologize, I think I just hit the camera again. So I'm a camera pounder. Is that in? I think it was in. Not sure how deep it has to go once it's sitting in, but feels like it should pop down, but I don't think it does. So let me just grab this screw here. I could put the rotor in after I put the watch back in the movement holder, and that would give me some stability putting the rotor in, wouldn't it? That's probably a better plan. So I think I'll do that as opposed to trying to pop it in right now. actually looking forward to seeing what that face looks like someday. Looks like that's the toughest rotor in the world to take back out again. There we go. Let me get that out of the way for now, because I think I can put that back in after I reassembled the... try not to hit the camera again. There we go. And I'm going to puff the case out. I was going to pressure test the case, but I don't know. What do you think I should do here? Because I can't pressure test the case without putting the crown in it, screwing the crown down, and soaping up the case. I think I'll do that in a different video. I'll show you the pressure tester at the end, and you can tell me whether I've wasted my money or not, or no, as my relatives seem to say, or no. So let me just press this little button here and get this, get the dial out. Or get the stem out. Pull that stem out, ladies and gentlemen, like that. And I'm not sure where the dial is here. I gotta have a quick look at it here. My assembly is poor. My kung fu is poor. So the dial is on the other side. It's over here. And I want to line it up so that the this is in the right place. I don't have to fart around with it. Like that. So that's that. So up is this way. Up is this way. And let's put that in the center here. So I blew this out nicely. I'm just going to wipe the inside of this for a millisecond with a rag. Hopefully it gets less dirty with the rag and not more dirty, but just wipe the glass out on the inside here. This one, like I said, this watch wasn't underwater, so so there it is there, right? So if I case that, I have to flip this around like this. Put that down. That's probably why it's better with it dialing. And then this goes like that. Like that. If I put that in without the hands, it looks pretty good, eh? I think it looks more yellow on the camera than it does in real life, so I gotta put the hands on first. Or else, again, not good. So I'll take out my Bugs Bunny glove because I hate working with that. I don't do a lot of dials, so my sequence of events is off. I got a new hand pushers I want to try though, so there we go. That's one side. This has got Super Luminova on it probably. And that goes down like that. I'm going to try to make sure that it's actually in the 12 o'clock position when I do this. And I got these new dial pushers that I don't know what they look like here. And I got them used, so I don't know whether they're too big, too small. Just the size of Montreal. I'm not sure which one to use. I think I use this one here. Should do, right? And I've got to go down on that and push down and try to keep it at the relatively 12 o'clock position here, so I don't have to wonder what time it is all the time. Alright, that's in nicely at the 12 o'clock position. And grab the other dial here, or the other hand. I notice when I'm making videos that sometimes I use terms that are absolutely wrong, so I want to try to get this at 12 o'clock high, which is a little tricky, but it's just slightly off 12. But the watch is running right now, so it's going to be, you know what, I think it's 12 o'clock should be fine. Just like that. and then I push down on that, and then I make sure it's leveled off. There we go. Now look at that from the bottom. Actually looks like the hands are touching a bit, so I think I need to push the other hand down a bit more. So I may have to remove these again and try again. So I don't want to use my magnetic hand remover, so I'll try this again because I think I have to move the top hand, and moving the top hand alone is not going to work. So let me just get under here again, and I'll use my standard removers. Taking these off is a lot harder than taking off the pocket watch dials. Alright, so this one has got to go a little deeper, Jerry. Move that out of the way. That was a screwdriver that hit the ground. Or no, that's the dial, the hand remover that hit the ground. There we go. So I'm going to cheat and use Rodico here. Put it in position and then line it up. I'm going to move it over to the side here. Up and to the side. No, down and to the side. Over here. Right here maybe. Is that good? That's good. Alright, try again here. So there it is there. It's not at 12 o'clock, but just nudge that over a bit. I'm just hoping I can nudge this without it coming off again. There, that's perfect. Now I push this down again. Yeah, that's nice there. I just want to make sure I don't crush anything. And check the hands here, and they're clearing everything, so that's good. They have to actually clear that Vostok symbol or name or whatever, so that's because that's in the way. So I just want to make sure that this thing here is up high enough to clear the other hand. It's not on backwards, is it? Yeah, that was on backwards. I'm glad I didn't push it down. Yeah, that's 12 o'clock high, so. I think, again, like I've told you guys before, if I wasn't on video, I'd probably do this faster. Let me look at this sideways, and I'm going to push it back just a bit. And that clears that nicely. I think that's pretty tight, but it's clearing it, so I guess what I can do is throw the stem in and then test it. I'm not too worried about the second hand yet, so it's easy. Easy peasy. Second hand's easy peasy. come on. Problem with problem with the loose stem on these things is that you can't push and turn to get the thing aligned properly, because it's basically a loose stem. So I think I could get a little screwdriver in there and move that hour hand down just a tad. Just a tad. I need to use this screwdriver here, and I need to just adjust that just a bit. It's so close. And I think that's good though. I think that is good. I do want to rotate that around somehow though, so I gotta figure out how to do that without ruining things. Well, it's still ticking, that's good news. So if I press that button with one hand, put my finger underneath, and then push on the stem with the other hand, what happens? There we go. That's the three-hand putting the Russian watch together technique. See if that winds. Yeah. And then if I pull that out like that, that is, looks like it's clearing everything, so no issue. Let me look at it again. Man, that's pretty fucking tight. Oh, did I swear? I'm sorry. It's pretty friggin' tight. I wish it didn't have to get beyond that the symbol they have there, because that's so close. I could jack the hand up just a bit more. I could actually, if it's already up a bit though. So the game of millimeters. A game of millimeters. So I could just tilt that up just a bit more if I can. It's possible. I push on the back of the hand and then see if that did anything. It's clearing it. It's just so close. I'm just not used to it being that close. It's too close for comfort, folks. Too close for comfort. So I'm going to take my screwdriver blade, very carefully nudge the side here. Might have to put different glasses on because these ones are. Yeah, let's see if that did anything. Maybe it's meant to be that close. I'm not sure. Come around again. Yeah, it's clearing it. There's no rubbing going on, so that's good. And it's in the right position. So when I hit the top, it's bang on. There we go. So that's good enough for now. That shall do. And then now I've got to remove some finger marks on here. And Rodico, I think, is the world's best finger mark remover. If you don't do this, you end up with little fingerprints all over your watch face, which is no good. Just do that, clean the finger marks off with Rodico, and I'll move the hand out of the way in a second. I'm trying to hold the edges right now so I don't get any further prints on it. And I can get pretty close to the hands doing this. There's no problem there. And the watch is just ticking away. positive it is. It's got the new orange face on it, so you'll see what this looks like in a second. See if it's any better than the other face that was on there. And I'm just going to go down the hands here too. That's good there. Just turn that hand, those hands around a bit and back it up. And just get under here a little bit. There we go. That's all good. Alright, so there we go. So now I'm going to put in the second hand. And I'll push that in using a different pusher. That pipe just goes down the center, so it shouldn't be a problem. Operation fix the hands on. Again, I got lighting issues here because it's hopefully I didn't break anything. Looks like I went down the side here or something. Make sure that pipe is still there. Okay, so it's now on top here, so I gotta push down on that to and there we go. It's up and running again. Let me look at that from the side just to make sure that's working. It's sticking up pretty high though. I think that needs to go down further. I don't know for sure though. Because if I push that down further, what am I going to have clearance issues? I don't think I should push that down because I think that maybe sits up high. I'll have a look at another Vostok watch movement and see if that sits high. So let me just pause and go get another movement to look at. There in the watch game, you should always have a spare movement to look at. So get rid of this, put that back. So here's my spare Vostok watch movement. There it is there. It's also an amphibia. And if I look at the pipe for this, I'm going to just have a quick look at that really close to see if it's lower than the pipe on this, because it should be the exact same movement inside. So let me look at that pipe and see if I have the same depth of that, because I don't want to push it down too hard because I will break it. It sits pretty high. Not sure if that's sitting higher than pretty high though, but it seems really high. But when it goes around, it clears that alright, there you go. There's a flaw. So I'm looking how it clears that hand here. Yeah, it just clears it just a bit. I don't know if it needs to go down any further or not. Oh, that's good enough. I'm not pushing that down any further. So there we go. The hands are on. If the hand falls off, then for sure I'll push it down further, but for now it's staying where it is. This is also actually harder than I thought it would be, but I think if you work on a boatload of watches, you're better off. I do a lot of pocket watch work, so I'm just going to look at this clearing again and just make sure it clears that hand. See, it's shockproof too because it fell off the Bergeron thing onto the ground and it's still running. It takes a lick and keeps on ticking. So that's there. So that's that. If I just twist that around like that, make sure that's lined up like that. So I got to take the second hand off again. Now this time I want to keep my fingers away from everything because it's I'm likely to cause a fingerprint on there and I don't want to, so let's see if I can use the same technique I used to pull it out. One hand on the top and two hands on the bottom. What a great technique, eh? That works really well. Now I got to turn that around somehow without buggering it up. I don't know, I got another case thing here, I could use that. Let's just move the pocket watch out of the way. Grab this device here because I want to sit it down again. So you remember how to do this. See, it was like that, it was resting like this. So this is down like that. Right? So I'll just put that down like this here for now. Put that down. You know what? That's resting on the hands. That's not good. That is not good. Jeez. Right, so there it is. That should go in like that. Yeah, putting hands back on is the most painful part, I think, of doing watch work. And I just don't like the way these hands are sitting. I just think this hour hand is up far too high. I don't want to bust it. Alright, never mind. It's good enough. So just rest this down like that. And then I think if I just put this down like this, like that, that's in there nicely. And turn it around. A little bit of pressure. And there we go. There it is. And I'm going to get the stem in first. If I can find it. There it is. I'm going to get the stem in before I put those screws back. And I think if I press that button again, it's going to be easier. Did it do it? Not sure. I'll just screw the crown in and see what happens. There we go. That did it there. So, and you know what I'm going to do is just shift this over just a bit, like that, before I put the screws in. And I'll put the screws in first, and then I'll put the rotor in. see if I can do that, see if that works. And I gotta make sure I get the right screw for the rotor. These screws all kind of look the same. That's definitely a case screw, and this is definitely a case screw, and that's the rotor screw right there. So I don't know how hard these case screws are going to be to put back in, so I'll just throw one down here and see what happens. Yeah, that wasn't too shabby. It's one, so I put that in nice and lightly. And the other one goes right here. I think I can just edge it in and drop it and then sit it up like that, and then grab it and go ahead and do it. So you get a bonus video today. Isn't that nice? I think my wife's going to start missing me. I hear laughter in the background. Okay, that's in nice and tight, and that's in tight as well. And let me have a look at, it shouldn't fall out. Actually it might fall out, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks okay on that side. So there we go. So that's good there. So now I want to put the rotor in, but to put the seal in first, then put the rotor in, or put the rotor in first? The double gasket. The most amazing double gasket. And this gasket goes flat like this, and there's a groove on there's double grooves on this gasket, so that if any water gets in, they hit the grooves, and it still doesn't get into the wash. I just noticed something here. I don't know whether I need to lubricate this gasket or not. Should I lubricate the gasket? Let me get my gasket lubrication stuff. Alright, so here we got the watch escapement analyzer and timer software, and I think the train for this thing here runs at 19.8, I believe. And there you go, right on the money. So let's see if this thing is running fast, slow, or other. So I'm going to have to be quiet for a second to actually do the test. And here we go, and let's start the test. So amplitude of 287. And running around 15 seconds a day negative. Of course, I screwed that up by talking. There's my voice. The beat error is exceptional. So that's a really good amplitude there, and running around minus 15 seconds per day. So I could probably push that forward just a tad and see what happens. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wear it and test it and see how it works. So that is that. So that's the beat error, so we're good there. So, and as you can see, I set this up with a piece of Rodico and over the top. I gotta unplug this mic because I'm getting a bit of an echo, but let me just do this. There we go. So, and I just took a microphone from a headset and I just put that across. I've got better microphones for timing. I got the Swiss Connect microphone, which is probably a lot better, but I just wanted to see how that worked. And let me see if I can get any better on this movement again just before I end this video. That's not bad there. That's kind of nice. There it is. There's the Vostok movement in all of its glory. It's kind of it's a neat kind of movement. I'm looking for my toothpick here. And just rotate this around so you can have a look at it before I close the watch down. So it's not running bad. Minus 15 seconds in face down position. Amplitude's excellent. I'd say the job is done. D-O-N-E. Dunny. And let's just put this case back on here. It just fits in nice and snug, and then this ring fits over the top like that. Steady everything, steady Eddie. And you just turn that ring on. So I'll back this off a bit. And there it is. So just tighten that ring if I can. Is that tightening? Yeah, it's tightening. So it's tightening that ring down. And last couple turns on it just to make sure it's snug. And that should keep any water out for sure. And there it is. This is the orange Vostok. I think I see a flake of something on the inside of the glass. Doesn't matter, I'm leaving it there. Not taking it apart to take out that flake. But I blew all that stuff out. So anyway, that's the Vostok amphibian. And it says water resistant right now, but it doesn't say 200 meters, but that's fine. So I got myself an orange. Orange, you're glad you got yourself an orange watch. Alright, here's the Vostok amphibian. It's got the orange dial on it now, so, and that's a good shot of the orange dial, so it looks pretty darn good. It's a beautiful dial change. The dial that was on there before, let me see if I can grab that. I had to modify the dial feet a bit on the old one, but that was the black dial that was on there before, but the one that came stock didn't have any Roman numerals on there, or just didn't have any numbers at all actually. This one's got beautifully lit numbers. I suspect there's loom on those numbers as well. Hopefully it's not radioactive. But that's the watch. So thanks for watching get it, joke. Thanks for watching my video today on how to flip a dial. I've got some mistakes in there like I always do, but other than that, it turned out really good. Just getting that second hand on right was kind of tricky, but other than that, it was pretty straightforward. Thanks a lot, and please subscribe to my videos, and I'll see you next time.